we want to place the patient at the center, and focus on the whole patient's journey, like we talked about. So AI is really helping us create digital tools that will lead to really equitable access to very multidisciplinary, personalized supportive care services that we offer. So care that's aimed to redefine treatment for both the patient and the caregivers facing cancer. Right. So when you focus on the overall things, our supportive care programs are extending into bespoke mental health, behavioral health, delivery, and all of the various aspects of the journey that they have to go through.
AI has a lot of potential to revolutionize healthcare, but at the same time, it, like every good thing, it comes with some risks, right? And I think it's very important to be mindful of those risks. Bias is always the first thing that comes to mind when dealing with these algorithms. It's really important to, on a use case by use case basis, look at how an algorithm, if it's predictive, how it's predicting on different patient populations, for example, or if we are developing internally, we are always mindful of the data that goes into the training should be representative of our patient population, obviously. So there is a lot happening in research and also in practice to make sure that we mitigate bias as much as possible in the development phase, but also in the application phase. We make sure we have a very robust AI governance process, that we make sure that each AI tool that we adopt and bring into the organization or we develop internally, we look at it from a very multidisciplinary perspective. So we have we have legal, compliance, ethical reviews, as well as like technical reviews. So we look at every use case from that holistic perspective. But bias is only one. Bias is only one risk that we have to mitigate. There is also, especially with the generative AI tools, I'm sure everyone has heard of risk of hallucinations, or making up things that really look like factual, but you have to dig deeper to understand that it's all made up. So there is a lot, especially with generative AI, there is a lot of consideration that if you're adopting or developing a Gen AI tool, you should make sure that you guardrail against the known limitations, like, for example, the hallucinations. So yeah, there's a lot that is happening in the space, but we try our best. But I do believe that AI governance is also an evolving space, and everyone is trying to come up with like that checklist of, okay, if these 5 things are met, then this AI tool is good. But for now, it's like you try to be more conservative than not and look at it from every possible aspect. And the most important part is use case by use case. You can never say, okay, this AI model is now safe for every application. It's the nuances are always what matters the most. Decade is with the speed that AI is moving, I think it's nearly impossible to say what's happening. It's what's going to happen in the next decade. But some of the things that we are most excited about right now is we have at City of Hope, we have developed a oncology specific large language model framework, which uses the best-in-class commercial and open source models, but also we've made it oncology specific with further training and fine-tuning using City of Hope data, like more than 9 billion tokens from 6 million nodes. So what we have now is a large language model that understands oncology context very well and can do oncology tasks very well, such as summarizing documents, answering questions, clinical trials matching. That's something that we've been piloting at CDFO for more than a year for a dozen of different applications, and the results are very promising. We're actually going live with it in production system-wide for document summarization for our new patients. So like our patients sometimes come to us as referrals with 20 years of cancer history. So they come to us with more than 1,000 pages of PDF documents, scanned documents, handwritten notes. It's like they've been to 5 different organizations and they come to us sometimes as their last resort. And it's humanly impossible for a doctor to go through all of these documents and understand a complete picture of what the patient has been through so far. So one of the things that our large language model framework does right now, which it takes all of these documents in and it gives the doctor a 2-page, very clean summary of all of the key events in a timeline format. So patient was diagnosed, they got this treatment, they had this adverse event, they changed the treatment, they had progression, they had metastasis, and everything that a doctor needs to be able to make good decisions for the patient moving forward. So that's something, again, grounding things in reality. That's something that I believe is very impactful for providers and doctors, but as well for patients and their outcomes. It also removes the burden of patients having to inform their doctor without having the medical knowledge about what they've been through so far. So that's only one application. I do believe that in the coming couple of years, a lot of administrative burden is going to be removed from doctors and patients so they can focus. So patient can focus on recovery and doctors can focus on the care part of the patient care. So I think that's been talked about a lot, but I think that really is very exciting. But also, if you want to talk about a little bit further out, so our large language model framework is now becoming multimodal. So it not only can read text and understand and synthesize, but it can also, in the near future, see images and hear voices and be like a better assistant in terms of integrating more modalities of data. And a little bit further out, I think what's really exciting that we will see in the next few years is robotics. Robotics, I believe, not just for healthcare, but in general, robotics is going through a GPT-4 moment right now. I think this year we will see a lot of breakthroughs in robots that can do everyday stuff very effectively, and that has big implications for healthcare as well.